I'm here with Antonio, who is CTO of the software team. What is the Formula Student? Could you explain a little bit more about it?
Yeah, definitely. So Formula Student is an international competition where universities from all around the world, especially technical, build their own racing car, both in manual driving and autonomous, so driverless mode, and compete against each other. So it's about learning how to build a car, it's about learning how to build an autonomous system. So these engineers actually grow up in these teams and eventually compete with each other.
And what is involved in the construction of the car?
Well, the construction of the car is quite a long process. In the beginning, it's about the design. So we spend usually the first 6 months designing and reviewing our designs and iterating. And then when we're ready around February, we start building. In the beginning, we build the chassis of the car, and this takes about 2 months. But in parallel, we also build suspensions, we build all the other elements of the car. And again, at the same time, we also design and implement the software with perception, estimation, and controls packages that actually drive the car.
So, talking about the Formula Student driverless, what technology is required for autonomous driving?
Right. So there are a bunch of different technologies, different options that can be used. But the pipeline that we use currently is made of 3 elements. The first is perception, then comes estimation, and then controls. So in perception, we have perception sensors that actually capture the environment, and then we make sense of them with the pipeline. Then this goes into the estimation module that actually takes all the information and puts them together in a way that makes sense. And then the control part basically drives the car in this environment.
So, since you are the expert, I want to ask you, what are the latest technical developments in autonomous driving?
Yeah, so in my opinion, the perception field is getting more and more interesting with years. Lately, we've seen deep learning developments that are quite important, from convolutional neural networks a couple of years ago, now to visual transformers that are quite interesting to work with.
I'm here with Manolis, who is an expert for the perception part of the autonomous driving. So what role does the vision system play for autonomous driving?
So the vision system is a very important part of the autonomous driving pipeline because it's at the beginning of our pipeline. The car needs to be able to understand its environment, and as a human would do, we do that in autonomous driving again through using visual sensors such as cameras and lidars. In order to be able to understand the environment, we are interested in cones in our particular use case, and we want to detect the position and the type of the cone as accurate as we can.
And you told me that you have made an update of your car. Could you explain what is the difference between last season's car and the new car?
Yes, of course. So the main difference of this season is that we have a car that needs to be driven both manually and autonomously. For our car to be competitive in the manual driving competitions, we want to have as little weight as possible. So for that, in perception, we decided to reduce the overall sensor setup that we have in order to reduce the weight and also the computational power requirements that are needed from our perception system. So for that reason, we moved from 3 cameras and 3 lenses into just 1 camera and 1 lens. And for this, in order not to reduce too much the field of view that we have with colored data, we decided to move from a normal lens to a wider angle lens in order to increase our field of view while at the same time having just 1 sensor, 1 camera instead of 3.
So you are using the Kowa 1-inch 4.7mm wide-angle lens. Could you tell me a little bit more about the contribution of this lens to your vision system?
Yes, for sure. Also in the past years, we were using Kowa lenses and we were very happy with the performance and the robustness that these brought to our overall performance for our autonomous car. And for that reason, we wanted to stay with Kowa, but we wanted to find a way to, as I mentioned before, have as a wide field of view as possible. And for that reason, in the research that we made online, we found this particular product that could be provided by Kowa, and we tested it compared to other products, again from Kowa, and we decided that this brings the best performance possible, the best possible performance for our needs.
So you have pre-recorded some data from your tests. Could you explain a little bit more in detail what we are seeing there?
Yes, for sure. So what can you see in this video that we provided is the performance of the new pipeline architecture, of the new perception pipeline that we have for this year using the new Kowa lens. And what you can see at one side is the camera image with the wide angle lens with overlaid on top the bounding boxes from the neural network that we use to detect the cones and their colors. At the same time, you see the point cloud that comes from the LiDAR, which is projected on top of the images, which we use in a sensor fusion approach in order to get more accurately the position and the particular point where the cones are with respect to the world. With this, we can build a very accurate map of our environment and minimize the risk of the performance of the car dropping because of uncertainty in the environment around us.
As well as participating in the Formula Student team, I'm sure you're very busy with your studies. So what is your personal motivation in participating in the Formula Student?
Well, there are multiple reasons why someone would want to work in a project like that. One of the main things is the learning experience. Here you have the chance to work on a real-life project, on a very advanced project, while at the same time learning about what you do by doing. And we get the chance to work with equipment that we would never have the chance before, and it really boosts our experience and our learning as engineers. Of course, such a project takes a lot of commitment and a lot of hours from our side, but I would say all the learning experience and at the same time all the networking that we do through this project, it really compensates that time spent, and it really gives a benefit to our overall studying experience.
And what races will you participate in this season, and what are your expectations for the results?
So we're still very early in the season, so we have a rough plan of the competitions that we will participate at. This would most probably be the competition in Netherlands, which is a manual driving competition, the competition at Austria, at Hungary, which is a driverless competition, FS East, and also at Germany and quite probably Spain.